Have you ever sat on the edge of your bed after a fight with him, staring at your phone, waiting for a message that never comes? Heart pounding, throat tight, replaying every word, wondering if this time it's the end. You scroll through old texts looking for the moment it all shifted. You ask yourself the same question over and over. Did I push him away? Or worse, did I just confirm everything he was afraid of? There's a silence after a fight that doesn't just echo between two people. It hums in your chest. It fills the space where love used to feel easy, flowing. Now it feels fragile, like one wrong word could send it all crashing down. And what makes it more painful is that you weren't trying to hurt him. You were just trying to be heard, to be understood, to be chosen, even in the chaos. But he pulled away, shut down, disappeared behind that wall you've come to know too well. The one made of pride, of fear, of silence. And now, you're left in the aftermath, carrying both your pain and his disconnection like a weight you don't know how to drop. You wonder, why does it always feel like love must come with this much confusion? Why does it feel like every time you fight, you're the one holding the pieces, while he walks away like he's untouched? You ache for repair, for closeness, for that one gesture that says, I still choose you, even in this mess. But how do you offer that without abandoning yourself? Carl Jung believed that relationships are the meeting of two souls, but also two shadows. That every argument, every rupture, is not just about the surface-level disagreement, but about unconscious patterns rising to the surface. And right now, what you're feeling isn't just about this fight. It's about every moment you gave love and feared it would be left behind. You are not alone in this. This pain, this fear of loss, it lives in the collective unconscious of women who have loved hard and fought harder to keep what they believed in. And the truth is, there is a way back. Not just to him, but to yourself. There's a kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful. It feels like punishment, like exile. It happens after the fight, after the words you didn't mean have already fallen into the space between you. You want to reach out, but something in you tightens. Shouldn't he be the one to bridge the gap this time? And yet here you are, holding your breath, waiting. You feel it in your stomach first, a quiet panic. Then the thoughts begin to circle. What if I went too far? What if this time he really won't come back? What if I've made myself too much to love? You replay the fight in your head like it's a reel you can't pause. Not to blame him, no. You're already blaming yourself. Because deep down, you were never just arguing about dishes or tone or timing. You were trying to say, see me, hold me, don't leave me in this. But it came out messy. Because sometimes the deepest need has no perfect words. Carl Jung wrote about how we all carry what he called the shadow, parts of us we've exiled, denied, or disowned. In moments of conflict, those parts rise to the surface like waves. Old pain, unseen wounds, unconscious memories of when love meant walking on eggshells, proving your worth, or never being enough. You didn't just want to win an argument. You wanted to feel safe again. And when he shut down or pulled away, it confirmed the oldest story in your nervous system, that love disappears when you need it most. So you try to fix it. You minimize your feelings. You question your memory. You silence your truth, not because you don't know it, but because you're terrified it will cost you connection. You chase closeness like a balm to your guilt, because somewhere inside you've confused love with being chosen. After you apologized, after you soften, after you shrink. But let me tell you something you may have never heard before. You don't have to earn love by abandoning yourself. You don't have to be small to be forgiven. You don't have to prove your softness to be worthy of staying. Jung also said that until we make the unconscious conscious, it will rule our lives and we will call it fate. And right now, if you're always the one trying to repair, the one overthinking, the one contorting your soul just to keep someone close, it's not fate. It's a pattern, and that pattern isn't yours. It was handed to you by experience, by history, by a world that told women love means self-sacrifice. But you're here now, reading this, and that means something has already started to shift. You're waking up to the truth that loyalty doesn't come from perfect behavior. It comes from emotional integrity. A man stays loyal when he feels safe in your truth, not suffocated by your overcorrection. When he sees you choose yourself, even in conflict, that's what haunts him in the best way. That's what he remembers. Not the apology you rushed, not the softness you forced, but the stillness in you, the kind that says, I love you, but I won't lose myself for you. And I know how hard that is, especially when your nervous system is wired to believe that repair equals safety, that fixing it fast will keep love from leaving. But what if you stopped chasing loyalty and started embodying it? What if you let him sit with the space you didn't rush to fill? What if your silence wasn't punishment, but presence? Not a threat, but a mirror? You don't have to fight harder for what's meant for you. You don't have to bleed for a man to see your heart. You are not too much. You are not unlovable. You are not the reason love breaks. You are simply remembering who you were before you believed love had to hurt to be real. And that version of you, the one who knows her value, her boundaries, her softness and her strength, she's not chasing anything. Because loyalty doesn't belong to the woman who fixes everything. It belongs to the woman who feels everything and still chooses herself. There's a moment after the fight when the world goes still, but not in peace, in uncertainty. You don't know whether to reach out or retreat, whether his silence is anger or indifference. You keep replaying what you said, what he didn't say, what he should have said. And under all the confusion lives one aching truth. You gave him your love, and now it feels like he's pulling away from it. If you're here, you're probably the kind of woman who loves deeply, who sees the good in him, even when he can't see it in himself. You tried to hold space for his damage, his mood swings, his silences. You tried to be understanding, patient, emotionally available. And now you're left wondering, why did loving him push him further away? Why does it feel like the more open I am, the more closed he becomes? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to stop internalizing his emotional distance and start seeing it for what it truly is, a reflection of his own unhealed wounds. You'll uncover the secret emotional code of how the masculine often detaches, not because he doesn't feel, but because he doesn't know how to stay open without feeling exposed. You'll see how men unconsciously armor themselves, pulling back not out of cruelty, but fear of vulnerability. Jung called this the Anima rejection. When a man denies his inner feminine, he also rejects the woman who brings it out in him. This isn't about blame, this is about awareness. This is about reclaiming your power by understanding the deeper psychological patterns beneath your pain. You'll see how your emotional openness might be triggering his ego defenses, the very ones built to protect him from feeling weak or not enough. And how your heartbreak doesn't mean you failed, it means you reached him, and that scares him more than anything. You're not here to chase, you're here to awaken, to rise in your self-worth. To understand that when you finally see the unconscious dance you've both been in, you can step out of it and into the kind of love that doesn't punish vulnerability, it rewards it. Stay, because what you're about to realize will change everything. After a fight, most women feel a storm inside, not just from the argument, but from what it opens within her, the ache of feeling misunderstood, the spiral of wondering if she was too much, the fear that his silence might mean the end. And beneath it all, a quiet, unspoken longing. How do I hold on to him without losing myself? If that's where you are, breathe. Because this moment, the one you're in right now, isn't just about what happened between you two. It's about who you become after the fight. And the truth is, that's where your power lives. These 4 strategies aren't about manipulation. They're about magnetism. They won't just help him stay loyal, they'll awaken the part of you that no longer begs, chases, or over-explains to be chosen. They'll reconnect you to the deepest parts of your feminine, the ones men respect, remember, and return to. The first strategy is, mirror his energy, but stay in your softness. After conflicts, his instinct may be to retreat, not always out of punishment, but because his ego feels exposed. Carl Jung taught that men often carry deep unconscious shame around vulnerability. So if he needs space, don't run toward him in panic. Don't plead or overtext to fix it. Mirror the pause, but not the coldness. Stay emotionally open, but energetically still. This tells him, I respect myself enough not to chase, and I care enough not to slam the door. That balance is irresistible to a man who secretly wants to feel safe in a woman's emotional space. The second strategy is, speak through your silence, not your defense. In the aftermath of a fight, the wounded feminine often wants to explain, fix, and win back his closeness through words. But sometimes, stillness speaks louder than logic. Let your absence say what your explanations can't. Jung's idea of the shadow shows us that we often say the most damaging things when our unconscious wounds are triggered. So give both of you the gift of space to process, not as a threat, but as a signal of emotional maturity. You don't have to defend your worth. Let your grace speak it for you. The third strategy is withdraw, not to punish, but to return to clarity. There's a sacred kind of withdrawal that's not about revenge. It's about realignment. Instead of obsessing over what he's thinking, turn inward. Ask yourself, where did I abandon myself in that fight? Did I try to be understood more than I tried to understand myself? When you come home to your truth, you anchor into a womanhood that no man can replace. This is what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming whole within, rather than seeking your wholeness in someone else. And when a man sees a woman who reclaims her peace instead of chasing closure, it awakens his respect. The fourth strategy is stay in your feminine, not in reaction, but in radiance. After a fight, it's tempting to go into performance, cold shoulder, strategic silence, power plays. But all that does is put you in your masculine. What if instead you chose radiance over reaction? You nourish your body, surround yourself with beauty, and move through the world as if nothing can shake the love you hold for yourself. The anima, the feminine within the masculine, is drawn to this energy, like breath to flame. When a man feels your softness without self-abandonment, your distance without punishment, he doesn't feel rejected. He feels invited. Not back into control, but into connection. So understand this. Every time you choose your grounded presence over panic, your emotional stillness over reactivity, you teach him how to stay loyal, not from guilt, but from reverence. Because men don't stay for the woman who needs them. They stay for the woman who inspires them to rise. These aren't tricks, they're truths. And if you practice them, not to get a man back, but to get yourself back, something profound shifts. You'll notice that he doesn't just return, he returns differently, with more awareness, more respect, more presence. And even if he doesn't, you'll stand taller, clearer, stronger. Because when a woman remembers who she is after a fight, that's when she becomes unforgettable. You've been told that love means giving, forgiving, and always showing up. So after the fight, you stayed. You tried to explain yourself clearly, softly, rationally. You lowered your voice so he wouldn't raise his. You gave space when he needed it, even when you were the one hurting. You offered peace when your heart was still trembling inside. And still, there's this ache, this invisible thread pulling at you in the quiet hours after, wondering, did I do too much or not enough? Will this be what pushes him away for good? Let me tell you something he may never be able to say with words. When a woman rises above the chaos of a fight, not by shrinking, but by softening into her strength, she becomes unforgettable. Because loyalty isn't earned through begging, fixing, or proving your love harder. Loyalty is born when a man feels safe in your emotional presence and humbled by your boundaries. He might not know how to say this, but he doesn't need more of your explaining. He needs your stillness, your essence, the you that remembers her worth, even when he's forgotten how to meet it. Carl Jung once wrote about a moment in his life when he went into deep inner turmoil, not over someone else, but over himself. He had broken away from Freud, a man he deeply admired, and he found himself unraveling emotionally. Alone in his home by the lake, Jung began building small stone towers by hand, quietly, repetitively, like a ritual. When people asked why, he said, I needed something real to touch, something outside of the chaos inside my own mind. You are that tower, beloved. You become that tower when you choose not to spiral in self-doubt, not to chase after his emotional distance, but to root yourself in something deeper, your value, your clarity, your feminine peace. Fights don't break relationships. What breaks them is the unconscious repetition of old patterns. Jung called this complexes, emotional wounds from childhood that we keep reliving, especially in love. So maybe, when he pulls away after the fight, it's not even about you. It's the shadow of something he hasn't faced yet. His shame, his fear of intimacy, his belief that love equals losing himself. And maybe your pattern was always to soothe, to fix, to prove, but not this time. This time you become conscious. This time you see the script as it's playing out. And you choose something higher. You choose to pause, not panic. You choose silence, not punishment. You choose to go inward instead of going after him. And in doing so you send a message not just to him but to yourself. I am no longer a woman who abandons herself just to feel loved. That shift is everything. That's what keeps a man loyal, not because he fears losing you, but because he knows he can't find you anywhere else. Not your body, your being. And if he doesn't come back, let him go. Not every man can meet a woman who knows herself like this. Some are too wrapped in their shadow to rise. But you rise anyway. Because you're not waiting to be chosen anymore. You are the choice. So if you've been sitting there, questioning everything, thinking, I gave my heart, and now I'm the one alone, I want you to hear me now. You are not too much. You are not hard to love. You just needed someone who could meet the depth you've spent a lifetime cultivating. And maybe that someone is finally you. Breathe. Let this be your beginning, not your breaking. If this message touched you, subscribe. Tell me in the comments, what part spoke to your soul the most? And share this with a woman who's forgetting how powerful she is. You don't need to fight for love anymore. The real you, the calm, radiant, grounded you, is already everything a loyal heart longs for.